Welcome. I'm so glad that you are here. It is Thursday, August 27th, and we are live. It is noon Central Time. If you're on live with me, welcome. But if you're watching the replay, I want to say welcome to you as well. Today, we're going to have a really good time. We're going to be creating together. I love having the opportunity to stamp with all of my friends from around the world. And today's kind of the first opportunity I've ever had to try something like this. So we're live. We're going to be stamping together. I've got 3 amazing cards lined up for you. And I say we go ahead and get started. I hope you've got your supplies ready. So if you'll give me a second, I'm going to move my camera. I always like to tell you, get ready. We're going to go on a little roller coaster ride, because I'm going to move this right over here and see if I can get, oh my, I cannot see a thing. Where's my reverse button? There it is. Whew. Oh, I lost my connection. Hold on a second, guys. Something went terribly wrong. There, goodness. Well, it's just going to be a technology day. All right, that's all right. We can handle that, right? Okay, all right. So, like I said, we've got 3 cards lined up, and I hope that you guys had a chance to see the supply list ahead of time so that you could get your supplies ready. If not, don't worry. You can come back and create with me a little bit later if you'd like. But what I want you to do as we work, I want you, as my mom always said, she always told me, watch me first and then you do it. So the first card that we're going to create, if you'd like, go ahead and just watch me. I've got 2 more cards to do with you and stamp along with you. So you might want to watch the first one and then we'll get on to the second one. So my first card, I'm using the Gorgeous Posy stamp set. And if you'll remember in the instructions, I told you any stamp is going to work with this. I promise any stamp will work. So we're going to create a beautiful Celebrating Your Day card. I think this one was just really pretty. I was in a purpley mood. So again, I've got my Gorgeous Posies stamp set. And let me go ahead on this card. I am going to go ahead and show you the supplies. The supplies are going to be the same for all the cards. I'm just going to be changing up the colors. So I have a card base in Highland Heather, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. So a standard medium-sized card. I've got 2 pieces of Whisper White, and these are both 3 3/4 by 5. So I'm going to have 1 for the outside and 1 for the inside. Now, I also told you to bring in a scrap, and this scrap can be any color. For this card in particular, I'm going to go white, and it's 1 by 5 1/4. And I had you cut it that size because we're going to be changing it. We're going to probably be chopping on that. You're also going to need, for my card, I'm going to do a little embellishing with the tri-colored ribbon. Now, I also want to tell you, as you create with me, you might want to embellish at the end, all right? So don't feel like you have to embellish right along with me. So my colors today, look at these. Oh my gosh, gorgeous. We've got Just Jade, Calypso Coral, Highland Heather. Then I'm going to stamp my sentiment in black, in the Memento black, but I thought those colors were just beautiful. Now, the other thing that you're really going to need, and this is important, is a piece of scrap paper, junk mail. Guys, anything's going to work on this. All right, so as I said, if you'll just watch me on this first card. So on this one, I'm actually going to start with the sentiment. Celebrate your day, and I'm going to stamp that right up here in the upper left corner. And guys, that's really all the black ink I'm going to be using. So it was just for that one stamp. All right. Now is where that scratch paper is going to come in handy. Now you notice I have my grid paper underneath me. There is a reason for that, because that's going to allow me to keep my cardstock straight. And then I can come in with my scratch paper. Now, I hope you can kind of see my sentiment through that. We're going to be covering right here, all right? So I'm not too worried about getting things perfect and, but what we're using this as is as a mask. We want to mask off this area. So I'm not too worried about getting things perfect, because this is my seam coverer. We got to have that. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start with our Highland Heather. Hey, Brenda Paulson, the most amazing moderator extraordinaire is on right now. And she will be there. She's here to answer any of your questions. She's here to give you any measurements, something that you feel like you might have missed, okay? All right, you can see I just did some basic stamping there with the large flower. Let me set that off to the side because we're actually going to use it again. I want to move this for a second. Do you see? They're kind of sloppy, right? Well, I'm not worried about it because we're going to cover it up. So I wanted you to see kind of what we were doing there. All right, now I'm going to come in. There are some little, I don't know what we're going to call these, just these little berry looking things. And we're just going to stamp that right in the middle. And you see now I'm going to have to sit here and play. You know, I'm sitting here futzing with this piece of paper. I'm going to tell you guys, once we kind of get things going, it's fine. I'm just not too worried about things being where they need to be because like I said, we are going to come along and cover that up. All right, now let's come in with some Just Jade. I think Just Jade is going to be my new favorite green. I am loving this color. Anyone else? Give me a shout out if you're loving the Just Jade. Now here's what we're gonna do. We need to kind of fill in. And so I think I'm gonna put some leaves right there. And I will put some leaves, oh, let's see, where do I want this one? I think I'm gonna bring this one out this way. Yeah, like that. And this one over here about there. Nice. Now, inside the Just Jade, or inside the leaf is another stamp. And we're gonna do that one in Just Jade as well. But you notice the shading on this. I am almost positive, let me pull this back in. I'm not sure if Stampin' Up's calling this a distinctive, but I sure could. Because do you see the shading that's built into the flowers and built in to the leaves? I love that. I absolutely love that. Now guys, while I'm stamping, if you're stamping along with me and you go, oh Connie, slow down, it's too fast, don't worry about it. All three cards are basically the same card. We're going to be using different stamps. So you're going to be able to come along and fill in and stamp along here in just a little bit. Now in this stamp set, I've got some little dots. I don't know what they're for. They were probably supposed to go inside the flower. I've got Calypso Coral, and I'm just going to use this to kind of fill in just a little bit. It gives it a nice little splash of color. I kind of like that. All right, this part of my card, now that you can see that mask is gone, is great. Let me set that off to the side because I want to go ahead and stamp the inside of my card, and we're not going to need the mask for that. So I'm going to come back in with the Highland Heather, and of course how you stamp the inside of your card is totally dependent on what stamp sets you used, what image you've got going on there. So I can officially call my Highland Heather done and back in with Just Jade. Do you guys close your ink pads the entire time you're working like I do? I can't stand, like this is driving me crazy that I have another ink pad open. I can't do it. All right, there's my little Just Jade. Now we'll get the little kind of, I don't know, the viney things. There we go. It gives a good something there, right? Okay, now let's come in with the Calypso Coral one more time. And we're just adding a little bit and some right there. Okay, that is great. So that is for the inside of the card. Now, and I hope you see how fast this card's going together. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring in that strip, bring in all my pieces because it's already time to put this card together. Now that strip's a little wide. It's a little bit much. So we're going to cut it down. And I believe I've got that cut down to, I think that's about 3/4 of an inch. Let me bring in my paper cutter here. You know what, I think it's 1/2 an inch. We're going to go 1/2 an inch. You know, here's the thing. It's stamping. There's no right or wrong. Am I right? Yep, that looks like 1/2 an inch. That's what it was. All right, so I've got my little 1/2 inch strip and we're gonna bring our card in. Now, before I adhere this to my card front, I'm actually going to bring in Stampin' Dimensionals. because this is a really, really basic, simple card. Am I right? I mean, there's not anything like really, you know, wow factor to it. So I feel like I want to give it a little wow factor, and I'm going to do that with some Stampin' Dimensionals. This is optional, of course, but I always love the look of Stampin' Dimensionals. Okay, so let's add this to the front of our card. And yeah, can you see? It really adds something. Okay, so now for my little strip. Now I had you cut it at 5, well this one's 5.5, should have been 5.25, sorry. I'm gonna go ahead and trim that down because I really don't like it coming all the way to the edge. So bear with me because Connie didn't follow her own instructions. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and trim that down. And guys, let me tell you, you can trim this down to whatever size you want. I just kind of like having this little bit kind of hanging over. I just think that looks really nice. Okay, so I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal, but you can use your multi-purpose glue, whatever you guys tend to use. But we're going to add that to cover up that ick right there, because we got to hide that masking. Okay, that looks really nice, but remember I said we were going to add a ribbon. So this is that tri-colored purple ribbon. That's what it's called, tri-colored purple. I'm just gonna do a little knot here, and here's my little trick with doing little knots. So when I get it tied to here, I pull towards this end, because that's what'll make it a little bit smaller. Yeah, less waste that way. So, all right, we've got that. Let me trim this down, because, you know, this card just isn't purpley enough. It needs some more. Okay, how about a glue dot to add that? This is where I said feel free to embellish at the end of the video. But yeah, okay, now we're getting somewhere, right? I think that looks really, really sweet. Now let's go ahead and add the inside of our card. So I've got plenty of room here to write my message, and I like that. So, and this is kind of, here's what's nice with a celebrate your day. It can pretty much be anything. We can celebrate anything. We can celebrate that it's Thursday. We can celebrate that we can stamp together. So guys, that is how the cards are going to go together today, right? Pretty easy. What have we been on? We've been on for a total of 15 minutes, and I probably started about 8 minutes ago. So you can see it's a really fast card. Okay, let's move on to our next card. And this one, we're going to be using my favorite stamp set, the Nothing's Better Than stamp set. And my colors for this card are going to be in Pool Party and white. So there is my Pool Party card base, all right? I've got those 2 pieces of Whisper White, same size, 3¼ by 5, and then that one by, I don't know, 5¼ 5.5, who knows what I did, but my little strip that's gonna go on my card. All right, are you ready to stamp with me? I want you guys stamping with me. All right, let's bring in our grid paper and our icky little mask paper here. I will flip this one around. Now this one, let me go ahead and show you the card. So it's kind of the same thing. I've got a little sentiment up here in the top, and then I'm going to put my sentiment on the strip, so a little bit different. And then all of those fabulous cookies. So I'm going to go ahead and start with my sentiment. My colors today, then in ink, are Pool Party, Crumb Cake, and Early Espresso. So we're going to start with that Early Espresso. And we're going to say today is a cookies kind of day. So let me find my today is a, ink that up in my Early Espresso. You guys remember, if you have questions, Brenda is right there in the chat room if you're on live. And if you're not on live, don't worry about it, because we're still around. We can answer questions in the comments. So leave me a comment as well. All right, so now we're ready to stamp. So I'm going to just kind of line up my white cardstock there on my grid paper. like I said, there's really no right or wrong where this goes. But remember, we're going to have a big strip right there. So we're going to go about right there. Okay, so we're going to start. I think I'm going to start with the cookie and the early espresso ink. And we're going to do what you kind of just saw me do. And I'm going to randomly stamp the cookies. I like the bite of the cookie kind of going different directions, so it's not too directional. I think I'll get one more little one right there. Okay, now we'll come in with the inside of the cookie, and that one is in crumb cake. And we can ink that up. I have been in a Chips Ahoy mood. Anyone else in a Chips Ahoy mood? You know what, that's a little dark. I think I'm gonna stamp off once. But now that I've done one dark, I think I'm gonna have to go random. So I think what I'm gonna do is stamp one there and stamp one there. Yeah, see, that's called stamping on the fly right there, my friends. When you go, oh, that didn't quite come out the way I wanted, that's okay. We will make it work. So I'll stamp one there. And stamp off. Whoops, don't move that just yet. I've got to get that little bit of cookie right there. Okay, that looks awesome. All right, I am going to close up my crumb cake because now I'm going to come in with my pool party. And we're going to stamp my favorite word in the whole wide world, cookies. So this one is really fun. We're going to come in and we can stamp our word cookies in all of these blank spots. Isn't that fun? It really is a fun way to make this card. And you can see I can now really just hold my little mask in place. And I think I'm going to kind of get one more maybe about right here. Okay, that is looking good. All right, let's go ahead and stamp the inside of our card because we want to go ahead and get that too. I'm going to go ahead and show you what it looks like and give myself a refresher so I remember what I did. All right, we're going to stamp our cookie and stamp, and I'm pretty sure tomorrow will be too. So I'm going to bring my early espresso back in. I'm going to take that cookie, stamp it down in the corner, and then my sentiment, and I'm pretty sure tomorrow will be too. So when I designed this stamp set, I designed it with the just because in mind. You know, sometimes you just want to send a card just because, right? Bring me in that crumb cake again. I really do love to send cards just for the heck of it, just to make somebody smile, just to let them open up something else besides junk mail. So, all right, so that part of my card is done. And now I'm actually going to stamp on that strip. Now I'm going to go ahead. First of all, I've got to clean my stamp because we're going to now do this in early espresso. So you know what? Just because I'm second guessing myself, I'm going to go ahead and trim this down to 5 1/4 just in case I didn't. And I didn't. Oh, what a naughty little stamper I am. Goodness, I can't even follow my own instructions. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stamp my sentiments. And we're going to say, today, let me bring this in. Today is a cookies kind of day. And then you can see, then I can trim this down. So it's a cookies kind of day. And you guys, with that, I can go ahead and safely close up ink pads. And now we're going to bring that paper trimmer back in. I hope you guys are stamping along with me and you're keeping up and you're happy. I want happy little stampers. Okay, I'm thinking this is probably going to be 3/4 of an inch. It's an eyeball kind of thing, and I eyeballed just right. What a deal. Okay, so now let's put our card together. And I think you guys kind of know how this is going to go together because you just saw me do it. So let's do it again. Some more Stampin' Dimensionals. You know, normally on a video, I would do all of this in advance. But when we're stamping together, I said, no, we're going to really stamp together. We're going to do it from beginning to end, and we're going to stamp some cards together. So I didn't want to do anything in advance. I wanted it to all be live and in person. All right, let's take that really kind of nasty looking border there. And you can see we're going to cover that up. So let me put my Stampin' Seal on the back of this. I thought this card, I think this one was my favorite. Just one, Pool Party is one of my favorite colors. And I love the sentiment. Today is a cookies kind of day, and I'm pretty sure tomorrow will be too. You notice there's no ribbon or anything on this card. I kind of just left it as is because I thought stamping on the little strip there, the little seam coverer, seemed to work pretty good. So let's add this to the inside of our card. And guys, we can call card number 2 complete. Isn't that adorable? I love it. I hope you guys enjoyed that one too. I think that's just a really fun card. These are the nice ones to make up in advance and have them ready to go. You know what I mean? Okay, who's ready for one more? We're gonna do one more card. And this one, I'm actually gonna use the Arrange a Wreath stamp set. And for this card, guys, we are gonna flip it around, all right? So I'm gonna go vertical instead of horizontal, okay? I still have my cardstock all the same. So I've got a rich razzleberry. We're kind of in a fall mood around here. We're ready for fall. So there's my rich razzleberry card base. Now this one could go 4 1/4 by 11 as well. So either way is fine. There's the 2 pieces of Whisper White, 3 3/4 by 5. And of course, this is Connie mystery size of Bumblebee. You can also use crushed curry. Either one of those would work fine. I also have a scrap because you notice on this one, I did a little embellishment. Now, I did say, feel free to do your embellishment at the end of the video, but I did want you to see, I did bring in a little scrap for that piece. So let's get to stamping one more card. And I'm going to bring in my grid paper again. Remember, we're flipping this one around. So I got to remember to make my cardstock go horizontal. And I want to bring this in. Can you see? I left a lot of white space up here. That's what we call a clean and simple card. So I'm not even halfway. We can just lay this about right there, about halfway through the cardstock, and we are good. My ink colors, let's see, what do we have? We've got, oh, this one, look at this. Isn't that just yummy? Terracotta Tile, Bumblebee, Soft Suede, and Shaded Spruce. They are so beautiful. I'm actually going to start with the Bumblebee, and we are going to take my flower from Arrange a Wreath. This one, I gotta tell you, it's kind of been my new favorite stamp set lately. And because you can see, we're actually stamping 3 colors of flowers. And you know what? There's rich razzleberry in there, and I didn't grab that ink pad. So I think I totally missed that I used that color. That's okay. We're just gonna use these 2. It's all good. So we're just gonna kind of randomly stamp that flower. Let me give that a quick little clean on my little, I call this my baby chamois. It's my baby chamois. I like to cut up my chamois and have some smaller pieces. They're sometimes nice, especially if I'm using my Stamparatus or something. I do really like to have that so I can easily clean. All right, now we'll come in with some Terracotta Tile and we'll stamp. And now that I do not have my rich razzleberry ink pad and you guys don't want me to walk across the room, you know what, that's probably pretty good right there. So I'm gonna clean that stamp. And now we're gonna add some really nice leaves. One of my favorite things when Stampin' Up! Separates the leaves and the flowers so that I can get The colors, wait till you see this shaded spruce pop on this paper and with these colors. Pow! Right? I love it. So we can just stamp our leaves, and you're just going to kind of get creative with where they go. So I'm going to keep filling in. Hey, do me a favor. I would love to hear what stamp sets you guys are using. And guess what? At the end of this video, you're going to have an opportunity to head over to my Facebook page and share your creation. We want to see what you guys made. And so, okay, I cannot figure out where I want this leaf to go. Okay, I think it's going to go there. Yeah, I'm dying to see what you guys have made. So I have a graphic. You're going to easily see it. It's over at Simply Simple Stamping on Facebook. And yeah, I want to see what you guys make. So we're going to have an opportunity. It's not just craft with me. You're going to share with me too. And you're going to share with everybody. All right, let's bring in some soft suede. And this stamp is just little, I don't know. It was probably like, I think it's the center of the flower if you were doing a sunflower with the dies. But, and you know what? I could look at the stamp set. I wonder if there's a sunflower in the stamp set too. But you see, that also gives me a pop of color in there, kind of brings in the more fall look of this one. All right, I'm gonna set this off to the side and I'm gonna stamp my sentiment. My sentiment is give thanks. Always love to send thanks cards. They're some of my, probably the ones I probably make more than anything else. You know, I believe, yeah, I left that at 1 inch, but we're gonna be cutting it down. So I'm gonna stamp that kind of right there in the middle, okay? Now I need to do the inside of my card. So let me go ahead and show you the inside. It's pretty simple. So we're gonna stamp our give thanks again. I'm gonna share my favorite tip. I'm never good at writing on the inside of a card. I never know what to say. Do you know that the further down you stamp your sentiment, the less room you have to write your message? You're welcome. Yeah, that tip is awesome because now you never have to worry about it. All right, I have set my flower down. There we go. And I gotta make sure I cleaned it. I did. Okay, so I will come back in with Bumblebee. You'll notice here on my original, yeah, I'll probably go back in and get that Rich Razzleberry one here at the end. Okay, so there's one. Clean your stamp. And now I can come in with terracotta tile. And we're gonna stamp one maybe right there. Clean, clean, clean. And our last thing is we're just gonna add those leaves again with shaded spruce. And grab my leaves here. And I, of course, am all about stamping the inside of a card. I also like to stamp the envelope, which I will probably do here at the end of the video because I don't like my envelopes to be bare. Okay, guess what? We're gonna put a card together. So let me get this out of my way and we're gonna put together our last card because we've got a couple little embellishments on this one too. So I gotta find my card base because I moved it. All right, so we're gonna start with the front of our card. So we'll add our dimensionals. Oh, how I wish I could see your comments right now. I want to know what you're making, what stamp sets you're using, if you love me or hate me right now, because I know we all go at different speeds when we stamp, am I right? We all have a different speed. When I used to teach classes here in my home, oh, there were some that would be here and, spend quite a long time. And then others who would be in and out in like 30 minutes. So it was always funny. All right, I think I'm gonna trim this one down. Remember, my white cardstock is 3 3/4. So I think I'm gonna go 4 inches. So I will trim that down to 4 inches. That'll leave me that little bit. Remember I said I really liked that little bit kind of hanging off the edge? I like the way that looks. All right. So adding my adhesive. I do love this card. And we just make sure we cover up the seam. And go ahead and add the inside as well. And this is another, what I like to call make in advance kind of card. It's just kind of nice to have that thank you card ready to go, especially for the fall. It's just, it'll be a nice, quick, easy. Okay, now I wanted to do a little bit more to this one, and I wanted to show you this embellishment. Now don't hate me, but I'm not going to make this one in front of you, but there is a die that goes along with this one. Now, this can fussy cut. You guys are welcome to fussy cut too. But what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put a little dot of adhesive right there so I can add my leaves to the back of it. But the reason I didn't do this one in front of you is, like I said, I just kind of wanted to make sure you guys knew, go and do your embellishment at the end. Because it's so hard to know. If you're anything, I don't know if you guys stamp like me. I don't know what the embellishment's going to be until I get to the end of the card and I get to see what it looks like. So, all right, I'm going to put my little, I used a Stampin Dimensional on that to give that a little extra something. Oh, sequins, adhesive back sequins. Oh, I love them so much. I'm going to bring in my take your pick tool to add these. I think these are probably what, you know, this and jewels. I cannot get enough. And I love these. I believe this is, Brenda, will you correct me? But I think these are the Artistry Blooms sequins. But just look what that does to my card. Isn't it so pretty? You know what? I still like the Rich Razzleberry, but I think this one's still a really great card. But we're going to use the Rich Razzleberry right there. Okay, let me go ahead and bring in my other cards that we created so you can see them all. Oh, I'm telling you, I cannot wait to get over to Facebook to see what you guys created. I am very excited to see what you guys made. That's what I made with today's layout. So it's a simple one, and I hope that you guys found good inspiration there. Now, I'm going to flip my camera around, and if you'd like to see the cards for our next Create With Me, don't shut me off just yet, because you're going to want to see those. So give me just a second to do a little flip here. Oh, there we go. Hoping you missing how dirty my... Okay, that was not supposed to happen. I'm trying so hard not to let you see how dirty my stamper is. Guys, thank you so much for being here. I did promise you I'd show you the cards. Now, I do need to let you know this next YouTube Live will not be next week. Here in the United States, that's Labor Day. So I'm going to go Labor Day. We're going to go camping. So I won't be around. So our next one will be on September 10th. And these cards are similar to today, but also very different. So what I want you to focus on are stamps that are long and tall, okay? Yeah, so these two I thought were really, really pretty. I love the soft colors of this one, but boy, I love those roses. And it's a great, your kindness is so appreciated. And then just a nice little best wishes card. Really quick and easy. My favorite out of these though, well, and I just dropped it on the floor because that's me. This is my coffee card, and it says a cup full of thanks. Very Starbucks-esque. But what I loved about this one was the inside. This is what fell out of the card because I don't have it. I'm going to tack it down, but I wanted you to see it's going to make a fun little gift card because who doesn't love to give a Starbucks card, right? I love this one. And again, it's that clean and simple look, lots of white space. And so these cards are going to go together really quickly. Guys, thank you so much for being here today. I hope that you were inspired by what you saw. I hope you got a chance to stamp along with me. If not, go grab those supplies and come back and stamp again. Have a fabulous day, everybody. Enjoy. We'll see you next time. Bye.